Hello everybody. Where's Moonbase 2? There it is. Hey guys, it's me. There I am, Andy Decayed Andy here. Pre-show with Mr. Orange. Hello, Orange.
Hello.
Okay, good. We are working. The Discord is working. That's a good sign. We're ready for a rip-roaring adventure talking about Pulsecon today, right?
Oh yeah.
Loads of reveals to go through.
Yeah, this is going to be a blast. Yeah.
This might be a 5-hour show, right? Because of how much stuff to talk about. Oh boy,
so much.
Yeah. A few other bits to talk about as well. Not a huge amount outside of Pulsecon, of course. We'll talk about the Trigger event video trailer anniversary special thanks thing, whatever you want to call it. What do you class that as?
Short video.
That's a better. That's a more concise way than I phrased it. Shall we just get on with the show, Orange?
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let me find some music. The music. All right. Music time.
Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy Decayed Andy. We are joined by the man of citrusy goodness. It's Orange. Hey, Orange.
Hey, Andy.
Does anybody squeeze you and get your juices out?
That is private information there.
That's fair. But that's not a no. I noticed. That's not a no. You're not from Florida, so I don't think you have the Sunshine State orange. That's where oranges are from in America, right? Florida?
Yeah, and I'm not going there. Oh no, that's way too dangerous for oranges.
Oh my God, where is that? The only place in America where oranges are done? I don't know.
Probably not. I don't keep track.
You don't keep track of your kind, your orange people. You can't call orange a people, can you? Can you? I don't know.
I like to think that my people call themselves people. Yeah.
Yeah. If you anthropomorphize an orange, is it a person? I guess it would be, right? Because if you
it depends on the level of consciousness. Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. Like if you anthropomorphize anything, does it then get the title of person?
Well, if you anthropomorphize a jar of cookies, does it still act like a jar of cookies?
Well, act like a jar of cookies, or
yeah,
have
just
the
sit there
ability?
On the counter.
Oh, I would imagine not. I would imagine, depending on there's probably a spectrum of how far you can anthropomorphize something, right? There's probably like a scale from 1 to 10. Does it have eyes? Can it talk? Can it move? Does it just look like a person?
That's the important bit right there. How does it function as an anthropomorphized, essentially part human?
Yeah, it's like the furry scale, right? The 1 to 1 to 9 or something, where 1 is one end of the scale where it's just a dog, and like 9's just a girl with a tail or something. Or is it the other way around?
Yeah, I think it's the other way around.
It's 1's the human and then 9's the animal.
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember which way around it went, but it went some way around.
Wait, the 10 is the either the animal or Chester Cheetah. I like that version of me.
Chester Cheetah. Where would Chester Cheetah fall on the scale? He's not a full cheetah, but he's very close to being he must be like a 7 or 8, right?
Yeah, the meme depicts him as a 10, but I think he would be like an 8 or 9, I'd say.
Yeah, because like if he's a 10, then it would be a cheetah. It would just be a cheetah with like a packet of crisps next to him. Sorry, potato crisps next to him.
Yeah, they're totally made of potatoes. Yep.
Oh yeah, probably. Welcome, Simon
Potato
Tang.
cheese.
How are you doing today? We let's go on and talk about some Transformers, because that's how the thing works. We're going to be covering things that aren't classed in the news, at least this time on TFW. It's kind of going over 2 more repaints of the New Age H57. This time there's the V and the, what's the other one? The V and the B. which are both snarls. One's the G2 version, and one's the Shattered Glass version. The versions we, had a feeling that were coming. I think there might be there's a translucent one as well, which is the H67T. But we're not going to look at that because it's a translucent one. What do you want? So, Orange, you haven't talked about the New Age Snarl, I don't think. What do you think of him? How do you think he's turned out?
Oh, I haven't even seen him before today, I don't think. He looks like Snarl. I mean,
yeah.
G2 Snarl. Yeah, G2 Snarl. Well, like, Snarl's my favorite Dinobot. And
why? What makes him your favorite?
He was my first Dinobot back in the day, back in the 80s, and he just stuck with me. He's nice. I love him, and I had the G2 version, and yeah, it was red, and it was I don't remember it being two shades of red like this. One of them's red, and the other one's like a burgundy or a.
I think he was mainly the maroon burgundy color. I think you're right, because I had the G2 version. I don't remember his chest being bright red either. I might be wrong.
Yeah. I don't remember. I don't know the difference between crimson, burgundy, any kind of dark red like that. It's just dark red.
Yeah, exactly. It's red, bright red, dark red, pink. Or yellow. Yeah. Close enough. The only time I think you ever get into like real colors are if you're into like makeup or if you're into painting of some description. That's the only way you know colors. Like there's fancy terms.
There's like lime green, there's apple, and there's like chartreuse. I don't know. There's weird color.
What's the difference between egg white and eggshell white? Is there a difference? I don't know. It's just white. I don't know.
No one can decide on what gunmetal is.
It's like really dark gray, but with like a little metallic sheen to it, as far as I know.
That's my favorite interpretation of gunmetal.
That's how I would best describe it, because I've painted. The only reason I know for sure is because I've used gunmetal for Warhammer. That's like the go-to kind of metal that you use. It's gunmetal for your gun. It just makes sense. It's on the tin. So that's how it makes sense to me. And then you use like a really bright silver for the edges of the things to make it look like a real gun. But that's if you want to do edge highlighting, then you don't want to do that because it's hard. Very hard. Well, I do have a question for you, Orange, because I talked about this with Big D last time we talked about this mold. Since you had the G2 version, did you have a problem with this mold where in Stegosaurus mode, the clips for the legs going into the, into where the shoulders would be, did the clips break off of yours? Because mine did, and Big D's did apparently, since those were translucent bits of plastic.
No. As far as I remember, mine wasn't broken at all.
You never broke your Snarl? What the hell?
I don't think so. Maybe the one of the head halves broke off, but that might have been like a friend's. I'm pretty sure it wasn't mine.
If you didn't break yours, I think that might be a small miracle, because I don't think I've seen many Snarls that have survived just because of the the translucent plastic, and making a translucent bit of plastic a big old clip as well.
I broke a lot of combiner members, like the heads where it clips on into the joints.
Oh yeah,
I broke a lot of those.
Really?
My parents were generous enough to get me replacements back in the day.
Oh
so.
Wow. Jeez. What do you think of the robot head on the Snarl? Because it is. Oh no, it's the same head. The same head from each of these. This is, if you didn't know, Orange, this is specifically the toy head versus the animation head. If you click on one of the links to one of the other Snarls, they might show you the cartoon version of the head as well. If you're so inclined, of course.
Yeah,
I'll mention to the listeners that this version of Snarl comes with a sword, a red sword, translucent red sword, his gun, and 2 sets of hands. Doesn't come with any of the lightning effects, but I think this is probably a decent loadout for a Snarl for the most part. And yeah, the other one, which is the 67B, is the Shattered Glass version, which is a teal, a grey, and a purple, which I'm pretty sure is what Grimlock is like. But I don't think the entire team is this color, if I remember correctly. And in terms of
Yeah.
accessories, he has the same things of 2 open hands, 2 closed hands, a gun, and a sword. Sorry, Orange, you were going to say something there.
I seem to remember some Shattered Glass Dinobots as Minicons for some reason.
Why?
I'm not familiar with the Shattered Glass comics, and like back in the issues with like when Grimlock was like the Shattered Glass Dinobot, I seem to remember like the other ones like being Minicon. I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering. I'm probably misremembering. I don't know.
Do you remember what era, what year kind of you're remembering this from? Was this like Bocon Shattered Glass, or was this like more Hasbro owned Shattered Glass?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was BotCon.
Okay.
I'm trying to look at TF Wiki, and it doesn't list a Shattered Glass Snarl.
No, as far as I was aware, after the Grimlock, which was, I think, the only Shattered Glass, maybe that was quote unquote official at that point. All these other ones are now kind of just made up.
Oh, I clicked on or I typed in a direct link, and it did send me to Shattered Glass Snarl, which apparently was only available in chibi form with it looks like Grimlock and Slag. So yeah, SDCC exclusive, and they are same color scheme as each other, which is the standard Triptychon colors.
Yeah, but the other ones aren't, if I remember. I remember specifically Sludge isn't. He's brown and lime green. And granted, I can't remember the other ones off the top of my head because it's been a while, but I wonder why he's just been given the Grimlock color scheme. I mean, it looks nice on him. I think the colors frame itself quite nicely. Yeah,
I linked it to you. That's it. It's the only. It was the only picture on the wiki. So I don't know. Maybe there's another Shattered Glass Snarl out there. I don't remember.
Oh, well, there you go. What do you think of these two? Do you have a preferred one? Do you like the color scheme of the Shattered Glass one?
I really dig that one. Yeah, it looks great on Snarl. Is that translucent plastic in on his legs there? I'm assuming that's his head in the.
Do you mean for the G2 version?
No, on the Shattered Glass.
Shattered Glass, it looks like it's opaque. He doesn't look like he's got any translucent plastic on him bar the sword. On the G2 version, he's got translucent plastic on the head, but and on the back legs as well.
Wait, how do you how do you get the alt mode images? I'm not sure how to.
I scroll down.
Scroll down. That makes sense. Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah. I know what I'm doing now. It's fine. Oh, there's a tail articulation. Okay.
Oh, well, you were just looking at the singular. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You've got a few more posed images now to see what they can actually do.
Yeah. They can do the typical things.
The typical things. It's true. They can do the typical things. Obviously, these are all legend scale, if you're that way inclined. We don't have a price for them. You can effectively pre-order deposit on them. And do we have estimated date? Oh, unknown estimated release date for them. So who knows when they're actually coming out at the moment. But yeah, these two are going to be coming in the not too distant future. You can pick your preferred snarl. I guess this is the last batch of snarls to come out. I think we've had the general spread of all of the different color schemes that the Dinobots go through before the mold is then retired and we move on to something else. So I think this was the last Dinobot that needed to be done as well, unless they do paddles or any of the movie Dinobots or Slash. I think this might be
everyone needs to do paddles and Slash. That I really like the non G1 Dinobots. It's like I had canon them just joining the G1 Dinobots and having the same like color scheme and theme and just like expanding the group. But yeah, that's just me.
I mean, there's no reason why not, right? Why not? Just add them in. I might recommend reworking Slash's robot design. It seemed a bit basic. I would have liked a bit more oomph to it.
It is, yeah, I suppose.
I think it was basically basic because it was just a legend scale figure. I think if it was a bigger figure, they would have put a bit more emphasis on the design for the robot mode, which I'd be more into. But I like the idea of a little raptor or something like that. That's kind of fun. Yeah, why not add some more Dinobots? That's always all good. But that's all we've got there. New Age also showed off the S01 Romulus, which is a Megatron. It comes with 4 faces. Yeah, four faces. Standard face, happy face, having a poo face, and then screaming face, which is not having a poo, but trying to have a poo. He's also got 1 translucent gun to shoot Prime and kill him. He has 1 lightsaber with a giant ball on the beginning of the beam, and also his mace, and obviously the fusion cannon as well. Now, the interesting thing about this is you might say, but Andy, we've already had a New Age Megatron before. That is true. This is actually meant to be in scale with Studio Series, as they have said in promotion. There was a promotional video that's not actually on the site here. I just saw on Twitter, and trying to find a specific Twitter video is like a bloody nightmare. But I think it's kind of interesting. It's like it's not a full masterpiece style toy, but they want to kind of move into that realm. And I don't think it's a terrible idea, since Studio Series will not be able to do a Megatron gun. We don't know what they're doing or how well it will turn out. And I'm guessing they're just trying to precede it and make something that might be able to fill in that full-on G1 Megatron that also turns into a gun. He's obviously quite panely as well, because he's I guess, leader Voyager scale figure that still has to transform into a gun and be incredibly posable. So, Orange, what do you think? What do you think of these images?
Looks like a Megatron. I mean, I don't know what to say about these third party. I mean, that's what they're doing. They're just trying to recreate the G1 characters as accurate as they can, and they just, what, I really like how Megatron is just so happy doing the little helicopter spin on his face. That's neat.
When you say you don't know what to say about him, I'll ask you some questions then about it. Maybe that'll get the juices flowing. How do you think they've executed his robot mode and gun mode for a figure that's probably meant to be, like I say, probably meant to be Voyager to leader scale, a current day leader scale, I mean?
Oh yeah, I really don't like how it's so square, especially the handle. The handle looks way too square. Yeah, the handle of the gun.
Okay.
Which I guess translates to his legs. His legs being so square doesn't honestly look right. I mean, in my opinion, it worked with Siege Megatron because he's like a H tank and all that good stuff. But like here, it's just like I always imagine Megatron's G1 Megatron's legs to be like more angular in certain places, or not angular, not as just like square, like maybe like I'm not sure how to describe it. I'm sorry.
You mean more curved?
More curved in like in
the back of the legs, or whereabouts in the leg would you say it needs to be a bit more curved for you, do you feel?
The sides definitely, like maybe the sides like curved not inward, but yeah, maybe inward. Whatever the handle of the actual gun is like, I would imagine that's his legs, except more like going on inside, because you really can't have an easy way to split the actual gun's handle in half. Of course, that's up to interpretation, but yeah. I mean that's like I expect third party figures to be like more square and boring, but that just sticks out to me.
Okay.
I'm just not a fan of third party. This looks a lot more panely than I would like. I mean, at least with like Greebles, it can hide a lot of panels a lot better, but on these third parties, the panels are just there and more of an eyesore to me, in my opinion. Yeah.
Okay. See, I would say I think they've got the general shape of Megatron's body down pretty well and pretty successfully, and the proportions seem like he's got decent proportioned thighs and legs. Like shins and whatnot, and they all seem to have a good flow to it. There are a lot of panels, I would agree, but I think the transition from robot mode to gun mode looks pretty successful in my mind. That's probably what a Walther P number should probably look like. I like the fact that the scope on top of the gun seems to extend, so it doesn't just look like Megatron's fusion cannon. They've transformed it only a little bit, but they have transformed it to make it look a little bit different. I think that's kind of nice. But yeah, there are a lot of clearly panels that are folding. But I've always thought Megatron was one of those designs that's clearly a pain in the ass to do. It was a bit more excusable for a Legend scale because it's obviously so small. And when we've had Masterpiece toys to do Megatron more recently, they've always tried to have a cleaner look. And I don't think this is a super clean look to him. But it's an interesting idea at the very least to try and get that audience. I'm sure it will be decent quality because New Age always does good quality things, but it will be a bit of a it won't be a quick transformation. Let's just say that, because they're always fairly complex little New Age transformers. I can't tell if the fusion cannon has a light in it. I think there was one image of like you looking down the fusion cannon barrel and it looked like them. Yeah, the first picture where he's like running, it looks like that might be a light, potentially. Yeah. But I don't know. Obviously,
I know what you mean by the fusion cannon being slightly transformed. It looks like there's a big like a cylindrical cap that you put on for alt mode, and you just take that off for fusion cannon mode, because the fusion cannon proportionally is smaller when in between modes, right?
I don't think you take it off. I think you just kind of slide it up and down, because if you look at the extended version, it looks like there's that bit in the middle, and I just imagine that you just kind of push it down and it kind of clicks into position,
yeah.
if you know what I mean.
I see it now. Yeah, you're right.
I don't think it does anything else. No, it doesn't look like it does anything else, but I think that's nice that it does something. And I will say that New Age does a really good job of getting the expressions of, at least this Megatron has a really good face sculpt, and it looks, what I would imagine, like pretty accurate to how he should look like from show to a toy incarnation. There's a distinct difference in color between his bucket head and his actual face as well. Now, I don't think is that accurate? I think that's slightly accurate. I think there was always a slight difference in tone between his helmet and his face, but not a massive one. This is a bit more obvious, but I don't mind that. But yeah, interesting idea. It's the first one of this kind of bigger series. We have no idea when. Oh, it says it's released date is October, so next month, but I'm not sure how true that is. If you wondered, like, specifically, he's going to be 17 centimeters tall, which is 6.69 nice inches tall. There you go. Yeah, it's coming, and apparently quite soon, which almost feels like a stealth release. And he seems to come with some nice accessories as well for the most part. So yeah.
I love it when Megatron's happy. You always want that happy Megatron. He looks thrilled.
He's so angry most of the time. Happy Megatron's a nice change.
Exactly.
Yeah. Next up, we have the Fans Hobby MB25 Energon Wing Saber, which is, of course, Fans Hobby's version of Wing Saber. Wing Saber being the thing to make Energon Optimus Prime not look as fat. And I think always looked a little bit better than Armada Jetfire in terms of style. Visually, his toy did not look as good because he literally had a giant slit down his head to his groin because he turned into shoes and shoulder pads. But we have some images of his robot mode. Yep, it looks pretty heroic. He has gun toe articulation, very importante. Does this show his combined mode? I'm sure it shows the jet mode, which was always a bit crap. No, the jet mode's still there, and it still looks a bit crap. But,
no combined mode yet.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do? And hang on, do close-ups. Oh yeah, we don't see any shots of him combined. But I guess that makes sense. They probably don't want to reveal that just yet. They just have him standing behind or next to the Energon Prime just to give you a size comparison. And he's a little taller, at least when Energon Prime isn't combined, when he's just in Fat Man mode. Orange, I mean, is Wing Saber a big fan favorite of yours? Are you a big Wing Saber stand?
Well, I first want to say I love how they slimmed down Energon Optimus down there.
Oh yeah, he looks not nearly as bad as like the original Hasbro toy. That's for sure.
Yeah, as for Wing Saber himself, I do love the character, and
What was
just
his character?
really,
Because I honestly can't remember. It's been a long time since I've watched Energon.
he was one of those, like, he was a prison guard, and he was guarding the cells to one of the Shock Blast, and his buddy got killed by Shock Blast, and I don't remember how he upgraded the Wing Saber. His original name was Wing Dagger, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah.
And he upgraded to like a vague Star Saber looking guy, and he was pretty cool. I was really disappointed that his original toy didn't articulate much, but it was to be expected. But I'm so glad that there is articulation to him now, and like this third party figure doesn't look as bad because there's like built-in greebles to the design anyway. So it looks a lot easier on the eyes. There's interesting stuff going on, but still like a couple blank parts to like break it up. You always want that like balance in a design. You don't want to go too plain or too like detail intensive. You want the right balance, and I think this does it. This is a pretty good figure.
Yeah, I agree. You want the greeble details in really specific places as well. Because if it's a huge giant area with nothing on it, now some people might say, "Oh, but Andy in orange, there are huge panels here that don't have any greebly details, which are his shoulders." Clearly, that's where you put his Autobot insignia. If you didn't know, that's where it goes.
Yeah.
You forgot that. One thing I will say is it seems like, at least from these images, the giant seam down the center of the body isn't nearly as noticeable as it was on the original toy. It's a little bit more. It's a little noticeable on the groin, but the chest, there's only a really small seam line going up. I don't know how they're doing the head, because if I remember, the original head split in half as well. I'm not sure. I can't tell from looking at these either renders or the test shots of the prototype or whatever if the head does split in half. I hope it doesn't.
It doesn't look like it.
No, I'm assuming maybe you pop it off a ball joint or something. I understand why the original toy did it, but obviously having a giant seam line through the head, not a good look either. But yeah, I think this looks solid. Good for those Wing Saber fans out there. It's probably going to be a while before Hasbro gets around to doing anything like properly Energon related, seemingly, I'm assuming, right?
There are some rumors, but yeah, possibly. I really I do want to point out that that when transformable figures have like the crotch seam in between, it gets really annoying when you're trying to pose their legs and it just breaks in half. Well, not breaks, but like comes apart.
Yeah.
It pops off. And you just gotta pay attention to that, and you know which figures actually do that, and maybe this thing does that. I don't know, but
I imagine it would be okay, because I mean, like, if you look at figures like Kingdom Megatron, right? He technically does that. He doesn't split all the way up, but his groin does like split in half for that mode. So as long as you have a good C clip in there, good pegs, or something to hold it together, it's usually not an issue, I don't find, unless it's on some of the older toys. You know?
Yeah, he's okay. Dragon Megatron, the Legacy Dragon Megatron, he's okay too. Yeah.
Yep.
So there are figures that handle that pretty well, and it seems to be a problem that is less prevalent nowadays. So
Definitely more of an older problem, I think, for figures.
mhm.
What do you think of the jet mode? If we're calling it a jet mode, which it technically is.
Is it really a jet?
Well, that's what they touted on the show.
Well, I honestly was a big fan of the of that mode, whether you can call it a jet or not. It looked really uh, like it looked more spaceshipy, which is what I liked. It looked like some sort of like starfighter with a lot of weapons, and
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. And from what it looks like, they really captured that look. I'd hope that that there would be a like a design of him, a toy of him that made the like middle part, like the part that actually looks like a plane, the front where the cockpit is,
Yeah.
more in proportion with the back. But I understand that would be hard to do, because if you see the back, it's all just squared off, and it just looks like crotch with the legs splayed, right?
Yeah.
But I understand why they did it like that, because it's probably pretty hard to make it more in proportion. But even so, I do still like the design. I'm pretty fond of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting look. I think Fans Hobby are currently the one of the only companies that's gone as hard into the Unicron trilogy as they have. So if you're into your Unicron trilogy stuff, I would imagine Galaxy Force Prime and Master Megatron are probably going to be coming at some point in the future, which I'm sure a lot of people would be interested in, because we've had Galaxy Force Starscreams, but we haven't had a Master Megatron for, I guess, since Master Galvatron was probably the last figure we had that was in that style, and that was just a repaint.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Looks neat. He's coming. Next up, we have images of, I guess, a new thing from, what was this event? From the Takara Tomy TF40 Expo, which had a load of old Transformers in cases, and you could have a look at stuff. At the event, they showed off Takara Tomy's Missing Link G1 RC and Sunstreaker reveal. So these seem to be up-and-coming figures for the Missing Link line, which I, to be honest, I had no idea where they were going. I think this was a good idea to do RC, less so Sunstreaker. How they do RC, I'm not entirely sure if they're going to do it in the original pink and orange deco, but they do have images of the prototype for the RC at the moment, and it's, I mean, it looks similar, not exactly one-to-one, but it looks similar to what the original prototype was going to be, which, was a really fucking ugly toy, but it will fit in with the rest of the G1 toy lines, which is important, especially when you stand her next to, like, Retgar, who looks nothing like his show model. Oddly enough, this might be the best RC car mode we've ever had. Or one of the better RC car modes we've ever had. Especially compared to mainline stuff. Maybe not compared to Masterpiece or third party. In terms of mainline stuff, it's really solid, I think. What do you think of RC Orange? Do you like it?
Wow, it's certainly one of the better RC figures out there, in my opinion. Like, it's I really don't like modern RC figures. I'm just hoping. I'm one of the few that are hoping for like a Voyager Studio Series 86 RC to just like do it properly and get that out of the way, so we can maybe just repaint that, give it all the repaints, and then move on from the G1 RC design.
Yeah, I would agree. We've tried RC in her G1 form quite a few times, it feels like now, in deluxe form, and it never seems to pan out quite right. You might be right, just to try and do like a downscaled Voyager, but with the engineering budget of a Voyager, so everything's in scale, but we have enough money to make her do things that we need her to do. Kind of like Bumblebee from Studio Series. He's a downscaled deluxe figure, I would say.
I think the biggest problem is that Hasbro and Takara keep on trying to do her car mode in a decent size, and I think the car mode needs to be like scaled down so there isn't as much kibble in robot mode. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because she's always left with like a backpack or like some large amounts of goo that you need to just get rid of somehow. Yeah.
Yeah. And with this G1 figure, I don't think that's a problem because it's supposed to be a G1 figure and they're all a mess anyway, so she fits right in my
Yes,
opinion.
this one has very big childbearing hips. Very big childbearing hips.
Does,
And
yeah.
knees go inwards, which I'm not sure how healthy that is for a lady. If your hips go out that far and then your knees get pushed together, that seems concerning. I wonder how well it's going to balance. I mean, probably better than Kingdom RC, because I would guess, hopefully, because she doesn't look like she has a giant backpack. She does have a slightly odd face, but I think if you look at the cup and the hot rod behind her, the face, I think, matches up to that at the very least. Exelhead says best RC mainline, perhaps, but is best still is Nicey. Oh, true. Not really a G1 RC, but it's certainly a stylized RC. Yeah, I think that this is probably the missing link figure that has the most intrinsic value to a collector of just G1 who didn't go in for the other stuff and went, I don't really care for a posable Bumblebee. I don't really care for a posable Optimus Prime, a Cliff Jumper. We've never had a G1 RC made to look like the G1 toy line. There's value to this. I think they'll do 2 releases of it as well, to be honest. I think they'll do the original prototype color scheme and then standard current day RC color scheme. Do you think they do
agree.
that? Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, it's just money.
Exactly. They like their repaints, so
yeah.
I can't see them not doing it.
And I can see collectors justifying getting both because it's like, well, this is a prototype version and this is the real one, so you need both of them, right? Yeah, it's just like, yeah, okay, well, fair enough.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they show off a Sunstreaker as well. I'm really somewhat annoyed that this is the first time we've effectively had a reissued Sunstreaker. And it's one with extra posing, so there's actually again some intrinsic value to get this guy as well for most collectors because he's never the closest thing we've had to a reissue of Sunstreaker are knockoffs of Sunstreaker, and some of those knockoffs have actually been pretty decent from what I hear. But this is the first close enough official re-release or reissue of Sunstreaker after all these millions of years. So again, there's going to be a lot of people probably wanting this and grinning and bearing the price because, let's be honest, the missing links are very expensive, I think, for what they are. Orange, G1 Sunstreaker. Granted, he is in grey prototypes. How do you think he looks?
So goofy.
Yeah, well,
I mean, like I never had the original Sunstreaker toy, so I'm not used to how it looks, and I am used to how the modern like Generations mold looks. How can I put this? Okay, so the Generations figure looks more like Austin Powers, and this guy looks like Fat Bastard.
Damn, I was going to use the thing of like the Generations version is the 20-year-old. The G1 version is him at 40. And
okay, yeah, sure.
He's let himself go a bit. Fat Bastard definitely works as well. That's Sunstreaker. He does look like that. Obviously with more
posing. He is 40
though.
Years old, though, to be fair.
That's true. That is true. You can see that his arms can splay outwards and his legs can also splay outwards, which shows the new articulation he's been given. I'm wondering how they do the head, because I'm pretty sure on the original toy, the head is stuck onto the back of the engine block. I think that's all like not one piece, but all glued to be one piece, if I remember right. Going to be interesting. I'll be interested as well to see. I assume they're going to take out all of the missile gimmicks, because I think that's another reason why Sunstreakers were expensive, because like he didn't have hands. He had like missile hands. Then you could give him missiles instead of hands and all that jazz. So I assume they've taken those out, which, I mean, I don't care. No skin off my nose. You're not a G1 specific collector, are you? You collect specifically like newer stuff, if I'm right. That's right, Orange?
That is correct, yeah.
Yeah, so this isn't so much for you. It could be for me, but I might chagrin at the price because he's probably going to be like 80 or some. No, wait. No, Prime on his own without a trailer was 80. Prime with a trailer was 100 or more than 100. And I think B was 60. So this is probably going to be 70 to 80, maybe. I would imagine
something like that. I'd say yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Technically, a way better choice than Bumblebee, way better choice than Cliffjumper. Both of these releases, I think, are things that fans are more interested in getting. Excuse me, than the previous one. Obviously, the previous one was Bumblebee. Everybody buys a Bumblebee. You know. Do you have anything else you want to say on these, Orange?
No, I'm glad they exist, and they exist. So yeah.
I'm interested to see what they look like when they're all done up in the not too distant future. Well, I say not too distant, but who knows how long that actually will be. Axel Hedge says, "Fat B Sunstreaker, get out of my head." Oh, fat bastard Sunstreaker, get out of my head.
Oh yeah. You're picturing him saying all the lines now. Yep.
Oh yes, with a Scottish accent. Yeah,
exactly.
Make a little tartan kilt for him. That'd be kind of fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I do think that a lot of people are speculating too on the possibility of a prototype Unicron being made now.
I think that's a good idea.
Because RC was a prototype, and
The only other, like, you doing Unicron is a smart move. If you want to do another smart move, Dinobots. We've never had reissue Dinobots, and then go and hear the Dinobots with extra articulation.
Oh, true. Yeah,
they'll just sell, and then they can repaint them into G2 if they want to have a fairly easy sell.
I might start collecting Missing Link if they ever get to the Micromasters. Again, I want decently articulated, good quality Micromasters. That's all I want here. So
I don't want to pop that bubble, but I don't see this going past like season 1 or maybe weird ones. Like I'd be jonesing if they did Pretenders. I didn't have like Bugly, but they ain't doing Bugly.
No,
they ain't way they're doing Bugly.
They're in no way going to do articulated versions of like the shells. Leave that to the updated like modern. If they ever get to modern shells, but
well, there's that thing if they don't do that now for the Pretenders, we see them do the mix of robot and shell together. That seems to be the way that they do Pretenders.
Oh, don't remind me. Yeah. I'm so disappointed in that. But maybe they'll change their minds. Maybe a designer will come out and say, "Well, this is my passion project now. I'm gonna push for Pretender shells with the Interbots." That's what I'm hoping for. But,
I'm still waiting for them to do a 3-pack of the Headmaster Junior Decepticons, because we got Fangry like a good few years ago at this point. We have had no Horrible, and we've just recently had Squeeze Play. So put out Horrible and then put them out as a 3-pack, because it's really annoying.
When Fangry didn't come with his little blaster, his little gun.
No,
I noticed it's in the picture, but it wasn't in the box. I was really disappointed in that. And then Horrible, he was my favorite of it, probably because he's the one that I had way back when. My favorites come from when that I had them. Blitzwing. I had Blitzwing, not Astro Train, and so I favor him. Anyway.
Oh, you didn't have Overcharge.
I didn't know.
That would have made so much sense,
right? But but I'm pretty hyped for the possibility of Horrible, and I do expect him from the Skullcruncher mode, but I really hope he has better legs than Skullcruncher at the very least, because Skullcruncher has he'd have to, but like he did have the like scaly spike back on his alt mode, so
it's the smartest move to do. It's just annoying that it's taken as long as it has to get to the point where we still haven't got one, and it'll probably be in a 3-pack with the figures that you don't want anyway, like every other Headmaster Junior, which is super annoying. We'll move on though to the 40th anniversary special video by Trigger, which I see people creaming their panties over the internet recently. I've also seen people say you're not a real Transformers fan unless you know all of the references, which I'm like, oh, okay, so we've got two extremes. People overly loving it, or people just being assholes, but that's the internet, I suppose. Okay, Orange, what did you think of this trailer video thing? Because I think you'll have a bit more of a standard reaction to what I had.
Yeah, all respect to the assholes, but I really loved it.
Did you get every reference, Orange, or am I gonna have to kick you from the show?
Both, sure.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
No, yeah. I was really happy to see all of the, at least Takara, like all of the stuff that was aired in Japan. I know that like Beast Hunters and Shatterglass wasn't a Japanese thing, so I understand why that wasn't featured, but it was still kind of disappointing to not see them. But that's just a nitpick, really. I really loved the animation on this, and just to see all of the. I saw a comment on TFW that said that it's like if the Legacy toy line was animated, and
that's a fucking lie. Half of these figures have never been touched by Legacy line.
Well,
fuckers.
yeah, of course, but like, I imagine it's because all of the generations were like interacting with each other, and that's I totally agree with that, and it was like really really fun to see. We didn't see any of the Terrans, but we saw like the humans, and they were really done up really well. We saw we saw like Tidal Wave leading all the like fleet of like Decepticon sea vessels and Titans together. That was really good to see. I really like. There was a lot that I liked there. Yeah.
One thing I noticed they didn't reference, which this isn't a complaint. It is a good thing that they never referenced it. Do you remember the voice Mark Hamill played for a character in the Machinima series?
I didn't watch the Machinima.
Oh, you lucky boy. I can't remember. Was it Megatronus in the Machinima series chat? I can't remember. No one referenced that, and that's the only unique thing that was in the shitty, awful Machinima Transformers series. So this is not a complaint, but I did notice that, and it was like, good. Never reference that awful show. Never do that.
Were you expecting like Megatronus to do like some sort of Luke Skywalker thing or something?
Oh, no. I was just like, oh God, I hope they don't reference that awful thing. And they didn't. They didn't reference what do you call it? Megatron with the penis tongue. What do you call it?
Oh, they didn't, and that's probably for the best. Yeah.
They didn't reference. Well, they didn't even need to do the specific Megatron penis thing. They didn't reference any of those humans or anything like that either. But that's fine. Yeah. I understand why. There's probably they didn't do alternity. They're just random things they did and didn't do. They did the main stuff, which is the important stuff. So, okay. So my opinion on this, generally speaking, is. I wasn't that impressed with it, mainly because it's not much of an animation. Simon Tang actually mentions it in the comments and said, I won't call it an animation as there are a lot of panning shots. And it's true. There are a lot of just still images with either a camera pan in, pan out, pan left, pan right, pan up, pan down. There's actually a shocking amount of that when you're looking for it. Like the intro sequence, the clock background, that's one bit of animation. Then Sentinel Prime is not moving. Cybertron, and then it pans into a load of different images. No animation there. Pan over the Viacons, over the helicopters, the boats in the water, the beast formers, the tanks, all pan shots. It's actually like 30 seconds or more until the first bit of animation, which is the tidal wave rolling over the dead Decepticon's face or something like that. And there's a shocking amount of that throughout this of not animation. The first bit of really nice animation is like Starscream transforming and then having some extra jets fly by him. And I was like, oh, that's nice. Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, it's just a bunch of like hand-drawn art is how I looked at it. The animation I think is a bonus, but that's just me.
Yeah, no, I mean this. If it's just stills, then it should. Why is it a video with just camera pans? It doesn't impress me.
I don't know
too much.
why. I don't know why it was called a movie, even if it was completely animated. Why call it a movie? It's just a fun music video.
I don't mind them calling it a movie per se. If there was just more animation to it. Now, I think this shows that there's not a lot of budget behind this. Some people are like, is this a thing for a future Transformers series? I would say no. This feels more like I wouldn't be against it. But I think we should like compare it to the animation that Trigger made themselves for Gridman, for the Gridman series, if you haven't seen that before. I have sent it to Orange, and Orange has sent it. I'll play it in the background of the stream so you can watch it if you hadn't. That is a 5-minute video. Oh, I took it off screen. Okay. It was a 5-minute video, and it's practically all animated compared to the Transformers version, which has barely any animation to it. So to me, this suggests that there's a lot more money put into the Gridman version because they were wanting to make this a show. And the Transformers one felt more like a thing that Hasbro partially or mostly funded, giving it to Trigger, and that's as much as Trigger could do. So I wasn't blown away. I liked the imagery. I didn't care too much for the song of the music video. It doesn't get me aroused in a sexual manner. It doesn't have that heart pumping like beat that I was hoping for. But I thought it was okay. It was fine. But I see a lot of people who are really into it, and I'm happy for them. But I wanted a bit more than just pans. I did see one comment which was it was surprising how they managed to get all of the humans from different art styles to look so good next to each other. I was just like,
that was amazing. Yeah, that's what I want to see in the Generations line.
It wasn't amazing because they just made them one art style. It's you just made them a similar art style. So
were you wanting them to be like their own respective art styles?
No.
Or?
My issue was the way that I think the wording that was used. It's amazing to get these multiple different art styles to look good next to each other when they just made them the same art style.
Oh, okay.
It's that kind of issue with just like I don't know whether that's what they meant, but the wordings that they used just didn't come across quite right to me. And I don't know whether not knowing how people are trying to phrase things online, it's sometimes difficult to know exactly what the person meant. But that's a thing. I'm trying to think. I know some people want to see more of some stuff. It's a nice video though, all in all. I wish it would lead to something, but I don't think it will do. Another reason why it probably won't lead to anything Transformers wise is because this, Trigger's an expensive animation company, and there ain't no way a baby's primarily baby show in Japan is going to have a big high-end Japanese studio, or it's unlikely.
I really want them I really want them to animate like a hypothetical legacy. That they announced the what's it called? Age of the Primes. I really want them to animate an Age of the Primes anime now. That would look gorgeous.
I don't know what that would be though. In terms of the story,
I mean, we don't know that much about the line in general. They're probably going to tease some sort of vague comments about the storyline.
Do you think they'll talk about it on Tuesday?
What did they say about the legacy storyline? They just explain, it's just like
anything.
All the universes portaling into a battle arena, and they're all battling each other, something some vague stuff like that. It sounded like they had a lot more world building behind the scenes, but they didn't tell us, which is
I think I gave up on Hasbro's quote unquote toy line storytelling around probably Kingdom, where I went, this is mostly not Kingdom stuff. And after that, it's just, and the incomprehensible nature of what Legacy was meant to be as a story in quotations. It's not. It's just you're selling loads of different things from different IPs. There's no story behind it. Don't lie to us. Don't be silly. Again, if you're watching the stream, you've seen how little pans, in still shots there are to this trailer for Gridman, or promo image for Gridman. And how much more animation there was to it. Again, if you haven't seen the Gridman animation, the video is called the Japanese Animator Expo 09 Electronic Superhero Gridman Boy Invents Great Hero. You can just put in Trigger and Gridman and you'll find it. I recommend watching it. It's pretty good. It's a good little video. We have danced around the subject of Pulsecon. Is that the next thing I've got? No, it's not. Oh my god, we've still got other stuff. Orange before that, we've got the retro G1 bombshell and ramhorn set. Have you been collecting any of the retro series, which were in different boxes to this one? I might note.
The only re-release that I've ever got was like Blue Streak back when they started doing the reissues in early 2000s. So, no.
Okay. So from what I remember, these were in the no window boxes that were all styled to look like scenes from the animated movie. Now they've gone back to G1 boxing. This is a bombshell, but this time he is painted in gray and yellow and black. So he's more animation accurate, partially. If you want a true animation accurate bombshell, you need to have both the original toy version of him and this version of him. Why? Because in bug mode, he has purple on him, and in robot mode, he has gray on him. And obviously, it is not possible to do that with toys without doing a load of nonsense. So we have an accurate robot mode, animation robot mode here, but not an animation bug mode. It's a weird, interesting thing if you noticed it or not. Don't know why he's coming with Ramhorn. I'm guessing just to fill out the price point, I suppose.
Yeah, probably, and just because those two characters were available, you know, the blaster was already reissued with, wasn't it with Soundwave or other cassettes? So
probably still
Ramhorn was still there. Yeah, Ramhorn was still there, so they needed to throw him in with someone or just like release him, but by his lonesome, and I'm not sure they wanted to do that. So here he is.
And he's also coming with some gelatin cubes. I think we call them jelly cubes here, where you put them in boiling water to make more jelly out of them. He's coming with those as Energon goodies, I suppose. What do you think? This is a good set, Orange? Do you want a like legacy version of Bombshell, but with gray instead of but purple?
I want a legacy Bombshell that's in scale, like like a core Bombshell.
You don't care if he's gray; you just want him the right size.
I mean, repaint him to hell and back when I get the scale version. Just like shrink him down a little bit. Like I really like the Energon cubes there. I want a whole pack of those. I want a lot of them. I want an army build Energon cube.
Oh my god, you can get those pretty easily. There are a lot of third parties have made Energon cubes over the years. I mean, it's just like translucent pinky purple. Do you want to only buy official Transformer Energon cubes, Orange? Is that what you're saying? Because I heard you moan there.
Yeah. I mean, sure. I only pay attention to official stuff, so I'm not opposed to it, but I'm also not really enthusiastic about it. It's there, sure. I might.
You'd only be interested in army building if it was there in an official sense.
Yeah, I mean, if they were pack-ins or something, I'd be like, "Yay, I'm getting some Energon cubes." But
it's a weird set that's coming out again. Like you say, I think you're right. It's just like he's Ramhorn. You know, why not? Because I don't think these two have ever interacted. At least not in the cartoon.
Yeah, Ramhorn was like season 3, I think. Like he was introduced in season 3. Yeah.
Yeah. Was he in the movie?
And,
he was in the movie too.
Yeah, he was in the. Yeah, you're right. So the only time they could have interacted was in the movie.
Yeah, because then he got turned into Scourge, maybe, or maybe not. Who knows?
Both him and Skywarp as Scourge. That
who knows?
That's. Yeah, they are both half of Scourge.
Yeah. Oh, was it Scourge or was it Cyclonus that was him? I can't remember. No, it was Scourge, right? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
It's fine.
We also have another listing for a possible 2025 Generations Prime. I don't know why it says Generation. Oh, because that's a new title, isn't it? There's something of the Primes. Vortex listing. So this is a listing from. Where's this coming from? Intel listings. It didn't say where it's coming from. It says the person that leaked it, which was JT Prime. Does it say where the actual leak was?
It was a listing, and JT Prime was indeed the person that on TFW that listed it.
Yeah, it just doesn't say where the listing was, as far as I can tell. Either
No.
way, because we got the not the announcement, but we got details of a swindle coming back a while ago, and now this is a confirmation or possible confirmation for Vortex. I remember saying around the time when we got the swindle announcement, I wonder if this means we're getting a Bruticus. I mean, if we're getting a Vortex as well, I think it's pretty obvious. It would make sense if you're doing combiners. I mean, let's be honest, Superion's not a super popular combiner.
Yeah. Make note, though, that Vortex here replaced Swindle in that wave, and apparently Swindle will be in a later wave.
Oh, really? Okay, that's interesting. Just getting pushed back or pushed forward, I suppose. But yeah, Vortex. I don't think we're going to be seeing these for a while because it says 2025, obviously, but that could be from like January to December, and I would imagine more December probably.
I'm kind of excited about this, mainly because I know Swindle has the most fleshed out personality of all of them, but he's my least favorite, to be honest. And Vortex, I think, has an interesting design. So I'm really happy that they've done this, and I can't wait to see how Vortex looks, and I hope he's not screwed up.
Remember, comic book fans, Vortex was a villain, a very, very, very bad person. He did not have a nice relationship with Onslaught. It was bad, abusive, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget that. Don't Joker Harley Quinn it. Don't do that. It's not a healthy relationship you should aim for. I'm interested to see what we're going to be doing. Not what we're going to be doing, but what it will be doing for Onslaught in the future. Because everybody whines and complains about how Motor Master was done. I never really had an issue with it. So I'm wondering how they're going to do Onslaught, to be honest.
Yeah, if they're doing Superion as the commander next year, where's Onslaught going to be? I'm honestly hoping that they're going to do 2 commanders per year, and Onslaught will be one of the commanders in 26.
I think doing 2 commanders a year is fine. I don't think that's too bad, right? Like do one middle, like summerish time, maybe a little bit of spring summerish time, and then doing one for Christmas. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's a big maybe because Studio Series also has a commander, and that would technically be 3 per year.
Oh, that's true.
But how are they going to do like other commander candidates like Lugnut or what's his name?
Do you think Lugnut is important enough to get commander class and not just a leader class?
Well, he's in the Hall of Fame, right?
Oh, what the fuck does that matter? Does that mean anything?
I apparently does to a lot of people, and it's Lugnut. Hasbro did say that they're still deciding on a scale for him because they want him to match or like be in scale with the Megatron and however big he's going to be.
Don't get me wrong. I think Lugnut probably needs or should have a commander scale, but I'm not sure if he's important enough to deserve it compared to other. Just because the pool for commanders is more limited than leaders, if you know what I mean.
I would think. I mean, there's not that many candidates for commander, unless you count all the trucks with the big trailers, like you got Thunder Clash, and you
could argue you've got every combiner leader potentially.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got triple changes potentially. Granted, they've never really done a triple changer as a commander, but you could. I think there are ample figures you could go with for a commander class. One that you just want to put more money into, like G1 Optimus Prime. Did he need to be a commander class? Probably not, but they made it because they wanted to give him way more budget, make him a big boy.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then there's every leader Optimus Prime from every series that could go into that. Big convoy. Not RID Prime because he's in a different thing. Galaxy Force could go in there. It's like because we don't know what HasLab's going to be in the future. Whether they're just going to focus on leader Optimus Primes, which would suck if they decide to go down that route.
Leo Kaiser.
that would be neat if they do Leo Kaiser as a HasLab. That would make sense. I don't know.
Leo Kaiser, I don't know. But
Which one do you mean?
the reason I think it's Leo Kaiser. Anyway,
No, are you talking about the guy from Victory? Or are you talking about the guy from Beast Wars?
Oh, Victory.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's Leo Kaiser.
Oh, Leo Kaiser.
Yeah.
Is there a Beast Wars guy named Leo Kaiser? I don't remember.
No.
Oh, anyway, the reason I say Lugnut is because he's like on my top 5 Transformers once. Tidal Wave was up there, Titan Tidal Wave, but we got him. So the next figure, Lugnut, Commander Class Lugnut, and I'm really hoping. I know there's a chance that he's going to be leader, but yeah. Anyway,
so it's a personal hope that you're wanting rather than a like.
I mean,
he might not be.
I mean, I am half expecting him to be a commander, but I know there's a good possibility that he won't because there are a lot more characters that are not in scale nowadays compared to like Siege era. So there's a chance he won't be. So that's why I'm still hoping. I'm not in the like, oh, he's definitely going to be a commander thing, right?
Yeah. Like I say, it'd be interesting. I'm just as I mentioned, I'm not sure if he's in Hasbro standards important enough to do it or not. I guess maybe we'll see in the future. We'll see. Regardless, we have Hasbro Pulsecon. Oh boy, what a show it was! If you wondered,
it had everything.
It did. It had everything. Now, Simon, I know Simon Tang usually is interested in my opinion of the G.I. Joe stuff, so I'll mention it here now. They showed nothing new, at least for me. They showed 2 new figures, and that was it. And the rest were reveals of the CGI renders, just in physical form. So that was similar to this. We got the wave. I mean, you warned me about this, to be fair, Orange, before we actually did this. You warned me before that this was probably going to be the case of just here's the wave of repaints and reissues, and that's all we're going to get. And you were practically correct there. So we were showing the full wave, which is wave 5. I thought because of the way they were talking on stream that they were going to hurry through and we were going to get onto new stuff. We didn't. We saw G2 Breakdown, we saw Cosmos, we saw Bumblebee from Origin Bumblebee, I should say, Galaxy Shuttle, Overcharge, Wheeljack, Ramjet, and Tarn. I think there are easily some pick-out ones which are going to shelf warm. The problem, Orange made a good point before we actually started the show. The Wave 5 is usually the I don't give a shit about it, says the retailer. And everybody knows how difficult some figures have been being the last wave of a series. I think figures that will sell quickly are the Armada Wheeljack because it's the version that people want, not the Shattered Glass version. I think more people would be interested in the Origins Bumblebee because the other 2 figures have already been released at some point. And that's probably about it. Maybe the Ramjet, just because he was a penis to get and then got really expensive on the secondary market. I don't know how hard Tarn was to get, but he wasn't hard to get here. Mikey said...
He wasn't hard to get here either.
He wasn't, or he was?
He wasn't, no.
He wasn't? Oh. Why are they reissuing him?
They said he was hard to get. Well, maybe he was hard to get in certain places, but in others, he was pretty plentiful. Like, yeah.
No, I mean, this might cause some issue of just like Tarns everywhere if Wave 5 is prolific in its distribution, which is always who knows how well distribution's going to go. Galaxy Shuttle, Overcharge, which I know you're personally interested in, but I think will probably go on sale. So I do have a question, Orange. Are you planning to get like one Overcharge as soon as you see one and then get multiple ones if they go on sale, just to make sure that you get one?
I do have to drop some good news here, and I've been a very responsible army builder collector, and I only pre-ordered 3 of them.
Oh, so. My God. Oh, you've already pre-ordered 3. Goddamn, dude.
Yeah, I'll get the rest when they go on sale
The
inevitably.
rest?
So.
What do you mean the rest? How many do you plan to get?
It's a handful, you know.
Like, what's a handful to you? Because, like, these are leader figures. Like, one is a handful, literally.
Maybe 5 more. We'll see.
5 more. So you want, like, 8 in total?
If they go on sale for like less than Voyager price, I'll
Damn,
get
dude.
that.
You do like him. Holy shit.
Anyway, the Galaxy Shuttle and Cosmos, I expect to be pretty popular because they were Cosmos was very hard to get, but Galaxy Shuttle was had a very limited release over here, and and like half the places he didn't even show up in. He was like canceled before he could saturate the market. So yeah.
It's interesting because obviously in the UK, at least in Ireland, Mikey said how easy it was for him to get Cosmi, whatever you want to call them at some point. But yeah, this is going to be, I suppose, this is a good way for people who are just jumping into Transformers and missed out on in the opportunity to get stuff. Granted, that doesn't help if you are like, oh, I'd like G2 Menasor. You're fucked, pretty much. But at least, yeah, this was one extra bimble for you. Yeah, it's that was pretty much it. There was one thing that was shown that was new, and that was let's get the better images of this because I think the images they showed on the stream were actually better than the official images they've got listed here. They showed off what's his name, Sentinel Prime. Sentinel Prime. That right?
Is correct. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I was like, is that right? Is another Prime? Sentinel Prime for the Studio Series TF1 series. We saw he has 3 modes. He has his jet mode. He has his standard robot mode, and then he has a weird bird battle mode thing. So this was the only new reveal because previously they released 2 Thu and somebody else, the Bumblebee and Elita 1 reveal. So they released like 66% of their new reveals a week beforehand for some reason. I have no fucking idea why. Could have just granted 3 figures, not a lot of new stuff, but it's better than 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little bit odd. What do you think of Sentinel Prime then, Orange? Do you think this is good? Because we've already seen the movie toy version, which is obviously a lot less complex than this, but it is out. I think.
Yeah. Honestly, I really like his standard robot mode and alt mode are pretty decent, but I really like that battle mode. I am a big fan of that. And while I think the normal like aesthetic to him was I mean, it's vaguely interesting. I'm confident that this battle mode will show up in future incarnations of him, and I'm sort of hyped for that because that battle mode looks really nice.
I don't know why. It reminds me a little bit of Deathsaurus, and I can't place why. Maybe it's the blue that they've used and the fact that they've covered his mouth, and the silver on the top of his head almost reminds me of a beak. But it's
the wings.
That's probably helping as well. Yeah, I would agree with that.
The wings and the shield.
This is definitely, obviously, an improvement to the previous version, which was the movie toy, which is obviously a simpler deluxe, where this is a Voyager. The question, as before, is this going to be more complex, but more... I can't remember what the issues were with the Prime, apart from he had the gross gray, which didn't look correct. I think people say, oh, no, that's right. His alt mode was a bit on the crap side. It doesn't look like this has a crap alt mode. I don't think it's something I would buy unless I really like the movie, which I did. Did you see Orange IGN released a movie review this week for TF1?
I'm holding off on movie reviews until I see the movie. So,
well, IGN notoriously for being really good at doing reviews on games and movies. I say very sarcastically.
Is that sarcasm?
Of course.
Okay.
Oh yes. They're notoriously shit at reviewing things. They gave it a 5 out of 10, and people are like, I did see someone have a typical Twitter reaction, which is, we should go and beat them up. And I was like, oh, Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter being Twitter.
Oh, the 10-year-olds are angry. I was like, okay. Oh dear. But is it going to be 5 out of 10? I don't know, to be honest. But yeah, there were some very angry people, at least in the Transformers community side of things.
I've seen a lot of people say it's peak cinema, so I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know what to expect. I know I'm not interested in it much right now, but I'll go see it, and
Same.
I'll reserve most judgment.
I'll tell you what I'm hoping for, Orange. I want it to at least be better than the Michael Bay movies and Bumblebee, because the best live-action movie I found has been Bumblebee, and I still wouldn't rate that very high. I want it to be better than that. I want to be able to say it's like a 7 out of 10. Like, it hits good. That's what I'm really hoping for.
I honestly don't have a thought on my mind. I don't have any doubts about it being better than Bay movies. That is a very low bar.
It's true.
But yeah, I do hope it's better than the Bumblebee movie.
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah. If someone said, "Do you think it would be better than the '86 movie?" I'd be like, "That's not fair," because I'm biased.
Possible.
I'm biased towards it. I saw it when I was a kid. It's got the G1 Transformers. Realistically, is the '86 movie a good movie? No. It's got some really wonky pacing and stuff. So technically, it's probably better than that. But I enjoy that '86 movie a lot. So
yeah. I'm exaggerating when I say it's not possible, but I really, really like the '86 movie. I don't notice the pacing issues. I just think it's such a fun movie and really entertaining, and I deeply enjoy quite a few parts in it, and I really like what they've done with the characters, except killing off half of them, but that's neither here nor there.
It was an issue for us back in the day, but it was essential and basically made Transformers last as long as it did, I think.
The killing half of the characters, I think the main downside of that is making Hasbro paranoid and just keeping the core characters overstay their welcome, in my opinion.
I agree.
I really liked how they were starting to rotate the cast, and all the outcry of Optimus Prime dying just made them roll that back and just keep on being safe. And that's the main thing I'm going to hold against the movie. Not necessarily the movie, but the situations that came about the movie.
I would partially disagree with you, because I don't feel that they did that for Beast Wars. Obviously, the Optimus Primal is Optimus Prime, effectively, in many ways. But he was different enough as a character. I think it was only more in recent times. Oddly enough, I think after the Energon series, where we just kind of repeat G1 in too many ways.
I mean, don't forget that they did bring Optimus Prime back in season 3.
Oh yeah, but twice. They made him a horrible nightmarish zombie, and then they actually brought him back.
in G2 quite a few times. So
are we talking about comic, or are we talking about animated?
I mean, technically the comic too, but the animated. No, I'm talking about the toy line. They tried to keep Optimus Prime. His presence there, they try, and I think it is the Beast Wars thing is pretty good. The only thing he had in common was the original Prime's name, and that was changed a little bit. So I thought that was a lot better.
Yeah. We have messages from Exelhead saying Commander Class Lugna with working poke, or POKE. That'd be great.
Oh, give me a huge blast effect of the punch of kill everything, like a huge big damage splash, right?
Yeah.
And Hasbro, if you're listening, you can make it double as a Titan class stomp effect. Okay, listen to me.
I mean, to be fair, you can ship that piece around to multiple departments as well. You could give it to the Star Wars things for I don't know, some Star Wars shit. You can give it to Marvel stuff with ease as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just make a generic. Yeah. I think just Hasbro needs to make effect pieces and then just ship them around to every department for the most part.
Yeah, agreed.
Just make it easier. Excel Hedge also says Tarn was non-existent in my area. That's why I bought the oversized KO. Well, I'll tell you that at least for my Tarn, the KO version was far better in terms of QC. I'm actually interested to know what the QC on these Tarns will be like, if they're worse or better. than the previous one. Excel Hedge said, actually, what was yours like, Orange? Do you remember? Because mine had really loose hips.
I didn't have any QC problems on him. I did. The only problems I had was, I have this habit of just not using instructions to transform literally any of my characters. So
That's okay.
I did have the problems with his chest popping off because I done this transformation out of order. But that was my only problem with him. It was a skill issue, basically.
So you mentioned you didn't have any QC issue. So could you pick him up and hold him by the chest and like shake him and his legs wouldn't flop around?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's good. XL Hedge also says Sentinel activated a big chin mode. Oh, for the super mode. You kind of.
Wait, really?
It's more like a chin protector mode. It's like a condom for your chin.
He's a chin master. Yeah.
He's a chin master. XL Hedge says TF1 is a close second to Bumblebee. Oh.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, we'll see.
I wish it would be better, personally, but okay. Well, that's something. But yeah, that was all of the Transformers stuff. I don't think there was any other Transformers news this week. Oh, well, yeah, they announced that like you mentioned, Dorrance, they had the new title for the next wave, which was Age of the Primes, which people were standing in front of, and it basically looked like it said Goth Primes. Which kind of was funny, at least made me laugh.
Goth Primes.
Yeah, because of how the heads were like covering the letters. As the camera panned around, someone got it to make it look like it went Goth Primes, which is kind of made me smile.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right.
It's not in the image on the front of TFW, but it was when the camera did a specific pan. So I think we can assume the Age of Primes is probably going to contain at least another Energon or Galaxy Force Prime, I would presume, right?
I don't honestly think so. It's from what the leaks look like, it's basically Power of the Primes, except the Primes get actual figures instead of just like little shells.
No.
And plus the aerial bots and apparently a couple Combaticons too, so that's pretty much it.
It's been a while since I looked at the leaks, to be honest.
Yeah, there are some bits and pieces here of like multiverse stuff, like there's a couple animated figures, there's a couple Unicron trilogy figures here and there. It's that sort of thing sprinkled in, but the main theme is like Primes and aerial bots. Yeah.
I'm not sure how excited people will generally be happy, I'm sure, but compared to like, Armada Megatron getting done and Tidal Wave getting done, I don't think they're going to be as hyped generally.
Probably not. I think the main figure that represents Unicron Trilogy is Armada Red Alert.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it is very of note that, and this is a big rumor. It was just mentioned by a TFW member, so just take this with a huge grain of salt. The rumor is that the Titan class will be Energon Optimus Prime.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
They want to do. Yeah. This rumor is not much, but a little more plausible because of the designers saying that they want to do some Titans as like smaller but more quality, like masterpiece quality of certain characters. Like they name dropped Broadside when they said it, so we might get like a Broadside that's smaller than Tidal Wave but like super quality and that sort of thing. But the Energon Prime, it's kind of iffy because he doesn't have that good of a design anyway, and people are saying if he would have to come with Wing Saber, right, for it to even justify the price then.
No.
No?
No. There's no way to do that when they could sell Wing Saber as a leader, and they do that just to get more money. So what they do is they try and get the Energon Prime, you said, right? Energon Prime. They try and get him to be really posable as a singular individual, kind of like the fans' hobby figure that we looked at earlier. And then also make sure that each of the individual boats and drills and those kind of things were like more posable than the previous versions.
Yeah, what if they get robot modes?
Oh, I don't think they'd go that far. That sounds expensive.
I mean, it is a Titan release, and keep in mind that the
it's a Titan
Stunticon box. Yeah,
sorry, I thought you meant Commander. Yeah, that doesn't make sense for Titan release. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
And keep in mind that the Stunticons box set was around Titan price when it was on Hasbro Pulse.
That's true.
So if the drones had robot modes and the trailer was relatively simplistic, I think, and like maybe not simplistic, but like the drones and Optimus Prime was like super articulated and detailed with a lot of parts, and the trailer, I guess, served its purpose. It could have like a battle mode or something to be more interesting, but I think it could possibly justify the Titan price. I just don't think it should be sold as a mainline Titan with that big box.
No.
It could be like some sort of like smaller box. I don't want to say the word exclusive because it's an Optimus Prime and he needs to be in the main line. But what else are they going to do? They have a Titan spot, they have a Commander spot, and the rest are like leader and below. But I don't think he should be sold as a mainline Titan. I really don't.
Isn't there like a giant Prime for the 13? Wasn't there like a giant dude, like who was the Metro Titans kind of Prime?
For the 13, there was the what's his name, Loki bot, who had an incarnation that was big, but I don't think that's going to be it. There was what's his name, Sentinel Maximus, the last Autobot. He's that, and last time they done him, he was the Ark. And then there is Nexus Prime, which was a repaint of Energon's
Bruticus, right?
Superion and Bruticus.
Oh, it was different pieces.
And who's coming out in the same year? Superion and Bruticus.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what they do for this Titan class. It sounds like, from what you're wanting, it sounds like it's a lot of budget that Hasbro might not be willing to put in. I'm trying to think like the business perspective. That sounds like an expensive thing to do, and that's not. Well,
keep in mind, I do not want Energon Prime, at least not that way. No. I would want like Rail Racer. That would be what I would pick, but yeah, I'm not Hasbro. So
sure. Excel Hedge says Energon Prime, please put him on a diet to better match his super mode. And if so, we need to get a Titan E Omega Supreme. Oh, that's something you could do from Energon. The Omega Supreme train thing. He didn't do too much transforming. He was pretty simple. He was one of the other big figures. But yeah, that's all we had for Hasbro Pulse. It was pretty disappointing. We were told that Transformers Day is coming on. Well, Orange told me that was probably Tuesday, right?
Monday or Tuesday, yeah.
Monday or Tuesday. And it seems like they'll probably save some sort of reveals. They did mention Studio Series Devastator was not going to be shown during the Pulsecon event, and they said they were pushing back when it was getting shown to some other date. I don't think they specified.
Next month.
Next month, okay. Why the push? I wonder why next month. Is there anything next month?
I think so. I think there. I don't know what the event is called, but yeah, the next month is apparently another event where they were going to show off even more stuff. So it's going to be a lot more reveals.
Was it a toy con, or is it just like a video thing again?
I'm not sure, but like the reveals of substance are going to be there, and of course we saw what HasCon offered. So
yeah, that's the problem. Like Pulsecon just had nothing effectively. For Transformers, it felt like a wasted time. Revealing stuff just beforehand, which Hasbro have done before, never at least comes across to me as a good idea, because it seems like you devalue your your convention in quotations by doing that, and then having the Transformers Monday or Tuesday day also seems to devalue Pulsecon again by spreading the. If you had like 20 reveals, I'd be like, okay, yeah, sure. Put 2 or 3 of them for this Transformers Day. Fine, we're down to like 17 reveals. That's a good amount to be for your big, like, this is Hasbro. This is the Hasbro event. Here are our things for coming up in the future. But we didn't get that. They did mention they were going to do the Space Bridge stuff, where they showed the images of things that are going to be done in the future. But I think they ran out of time, or they didn't have. I don't know. They just didn't bother doing it for whatever reason, and I think that would have helped. That would have helped the PulseCon look a little bit better if they showed future things that maybe we didn't know was coming.
Yeah, that would have been at least hype,
Yeah, it would have been better than going, well, here's Bumblebee, Origins Bumblebee. Here's Cosmos, which you've seen before. Here's Tarn, and here are 3 entries into the Hall of Fame, which took up like 5 or 10 minutes of the segment. I was like, oh my God, guys, just move on.
We got to keep in mind, too, that the other panels took a lot longer than they predicted. So a lot of the Transformers, even the stuff that they didn't plan on pushing back, had to get pushed back, like the pipeline reveals. So they kind of got screwed over there, but they did plan for a little too much to be put back in the first place, so that just made everything look too bare bones.
This has happened before, right? With time management on these, not specifically just the PulseCon, but previous combined things where they've got like multiple things to get through. I'm sure they've had time management issues there as well.
Yeah, probably. I can't think of any examples, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure previously. So, G.I. Joe, as I mentioned, there was nothing for me there. There was a decent, I think the best showing we had, not knowing D&D and not knowing Magic the Gathering or Star Wars. I think the best reveals that we had was easily the Marvel stuff, as they showed off their Secret Wars line. They showed off a VHS 2-pack, which contained a cartoon Spider-Man on a body that apparently no one was desperately happy to see. It's one of their older bodies. But it comes with a Peter Pooper normal head and a Flash Thompson head as well. Also, he comes with sea-gripping hands, and he can hold the unmasked mask. So, take it off his head, and there's like a little dangly mask as well. That's kind of nice. Not really cool, but the really interesting thing is they showed off the 90s animated Vulture, who comes with young boy head and old man head as well. People have said the wings aren't completely accurate, but I think Vulture looks really good here. He looks exactly what I would hope for from an animated version of the Vulture, if you remember him from the cartoon. I think I've sent you these images, right, Orange?
Yep, I'm looking at them now.
I think this is from this year, because this VHS set is meant to come out this year. This is the best of the VHS sets. The previous ones were Daredevil versus Hydra Man. Daredevil had some really crappy cell shading on him, and I don't know if anybody had any issues with Hydra Man, apart from who gives a shit about Hydra Man. And the Doctor Strange and Morbius set was the problem was, Doctor Strange is pretty similar to a previous release of Doctor Strange, and his cape basically negates any shoulder articulation. And Morbius's cape is, again, kind of a bit of a problem here. So out of the VHS sets, this was the best. Now, Orange, I assume you have seen the 90s show, cartoon of Spider-Man from back in the day, right?
Yep, absolutely. I love that show.
So what do you think of the Vulture and Spooderman as well? How do you think they've turned out?
Okay, mind you, I don't collect the figures, but they're beautiful in my opinion. Yeah.
Thing to note for collectors out there is they are pinless now, which is good. As some of the Marvel figures for some reason still aren't completely pinless for some reason.
Yeah, I heard them hyping that up pretty well. So
it's fucking bizarre.
Sounds like a big deal.
I would say as soon as they introduced pinless, everything should have became pinless, and yet that seems to not have been the case. It seems to have
really,
it's taken a long time for like most things to become consistently pinless because they just reuse older parts, but they don't like to make them pinless for some reason. The Sabretooth and Wolverine 2-pack I got this year. recently within the last month or so. Like his Sabretooth's arms are pinless, but his legs are based off an Omega red body, and they just haven't filled those in for some reason. I'm like, why?
Oh,
Just
that's
fix them.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's bizarre. I don't know. I think the reason why stuff takes so long on the Marvel side is just because of probably how much it costs for them to use the license. That's the only thing I can think of. It's either Hasbro trying to fuck you over and get more money out of you, and money wise like that, or the license is so exceedingly high for Marvel properties, as they have always been. Even like the Roger Corman stuff from back in the day when they did that Fantastic Four movie, apparently the licensing there was still pretty high, and it's gone worse and worse over the years. So I'm just assuming it's probably the case now. It's kind of annoying. So the big reveal was they showed off the Secret Wars line. I think Secret Wars was the first Marvel event. Don't hold me to that. But it's the first one. People were speculating for a while. We had a 2-pack of Monica Rambeau, or whatever her name was, like a different Miss Marvel, and the Secret Wars Doctor Doom pack. That was apparently their hint of what was to come. And we now have the very first Beyonder in his weird disco suit. Apparently there's an armored Beyonder. I only really know the Beyonder from the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, where he had a goatee and metal armor.
I do not remember the Beyonder from the cartoon. I saw this character and I didn't recognize him at all. I do like him. That is a nice hairstyle.
It's very of its time, I think. He's a super powerful being. He pops up a few times. He comes with a giant effect part. Maybe it's the world. Maybe it's Battle World, which they're all meant to be on, fighting each other. I think
that's what the Hasbro reps said.
Oh, is that what they said? Okay. They also come, because this is all based on the Secret Wars line from back in the day. They all come with a shield with a lenticular design, so it's lenticular energy. The Beyonder to Disco the Beyonder, and they're also using the old Secret Wars packaging, which I really like them using the old packaging designs, because this is so good. You've probably seen the old packaging designs for like the Spider-Man retro cards and the Iron Man retro card series in your stores, right, Orange?
Yeah.
They're good, right?
They look gorgeous, yeah.
Yeah, they're striking. They get your attention really nicely and easily. So yeah, Beyonder, that's a big deal for a lot of people. Not one that I would care for, but I think he's interesting at the very least. Titania was a new one that was shown off as well. She-Hulk's like nemesis for the most part. Apparently not a lot of reused parts from She-Hulk either, which is kind of interesting because you would have thought they would just mostly repaint her. She doesn't come with a lot of stuff though, and I'm assuming because so much has been remolded on her or new parts on her, that's why she's limited in the amount of parts. She's basically got one set of fists and then the weird shield. Do you know Titania? I imagine you probably don't, Orange.
I've heard of her here and there. The main exposure I have with her is from the MCU. Unfortunately,
oh no,
that's the second least favorite MCU television show that I really don't like that show.
What's the worst out of interest to you?
How they handled the ending. Which one was the worst show? The She-Hulk. The worst show, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What If? At least season 1. Yeah.
Interesting.
It was spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen it, but it was just it was just so depressing, and everyone was just dying, and it was that's why I didn't like it. It was like everyone was. That's why I didn't like the Multiverse of Madness. Everyone was just getting killed off. It was just so depressing.
Oh, interesting.
That and the whole 616 thing. That was bullshit. But yeah.
Simon Tang says Dragon Man and Dragon Man ? Andy ? Yes, they did show off Dragon Man earlier as well. I'm not too fussed about Dragon Man. The only stuff I really know about Dragon Man is the small amount that he played in the Jonathan Hickman run. I do think he looks nice. He's very big. He's a big boy, and I like that he comes with very, very tiny glasses. That's kind of cute. It's appropriate as well. But I'm not a big Dragon Man guy, so I kind of look at Dragon Man and go, that's not something I need or want. I like how they're doing it. I'm glad he's not a Kickstarter. I'm glad he's just you put in a pre-order and then you get it. They're made to order, if you didn't know. For those who don't know, if you want it, order it. If you don't want it, you won't be able to get it apart from third-party sellers afterwards. So if you want it, just order it now. I think that's a good way of doing that kind of thing. It's better than just a fundraiser all the time, where they're usually more expensive. Simon also says, Mask is being licensed to another company. 5 inches thoughts. Oh, hey, what do you think about that,
Mask?
Orange? Yeah, Mask.
This is the first I've heard of it. Mask is in the Kenner thing, right? Wasn't
Yes.
it Kenner?
Yes.
Wow. It's not Hasbro now, right?
Simon says it's getting licensed to another company. So.
Wow. Huh. It's the first time I heard of it. I did want Mask to come back, but like I said, this is the first I've heard about it, and I'll have to look into it more. But
for me, I would say it depends who does it, right? I'd say good, because clearly Hasbro don't give a shit about it. Because if they did, they would have done something with the property a long time ago.
Yeah, with like Transformers or G.I. Joe or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and the closest we had were like 3 3/4 inch G.I. Joes from Mask quite a few years ago now at this point. They did a Mac tracker. I think they did a Venom as well, but that was it. They didn't do a lot, and it was like, well, why not? Do something.
This is the first time I heard about that too. I'm hearing it. That last time I heard Mask anything was back in the 80s. I am intrigued now.
If you're interested, there is a kind of third-party company called Ramen Toys. Ramen is in like the delicious food. They have done the Centurions, if you remember the Centurions, Orange.
Yes.
They've done them recently, reasonably recently. And they've also done, they're not 5 inches, but they've also done a couple of the Mask figures as well. They also, funnily enough, did you see the Marvel Legends Ghost Rider HasLab thing where it was the big car that they were trying to fund and it failed?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. They've done that car. And they have replaceable parts to make it into the Ghost Rider car. And then other parts to make it into just a normal version of that car.
What company did you say it was?
Ramen Toys. RAMEN. Ramen Toys. Are you having a search for it now?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I'm guessing it's not them because I think they're a third party. Is that right, Simon? Is it Ramen Toys that are doing them, or is it another company? Are you not sure?
That's definitely a third party.
Yeah. They're pretty good from what I've seen. Oh, Simon Tang says Loyal Subject. That sounds familiar. At least it's not Super 7. At least.
Loyal Subjects for who?
For the official Mask stuff, yeah. I don't recognize the name, to be honest, off the top of my head. Do you recognize it?
I've heard about it, yeah, but I haven't looked into it.
Yeah. Exel Hedge says, if the Beyonder shocks you, you should see what he looks like in Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Now, is this the original Beyonder, Exel Hedge, or is this one of the other Beyonders? Because I know that in Secret Wars, the one Jonathan Hickman ran or wrote, the Beyonders are a race. Excuse me, rather than an individual, and they didn't look like the Disco Beyonder that we know. So
so it's a Hasbro partnership.
Oh, okay. Does it say what Loyal Subjects have also done?
Probably. Oh, this is an article, so probably not. Let me look that up real quick.
Simon sent a link and says Strawberry Shortcake. Oh, they've done Strawberry Shortcake. Okay.
Yeah, I see that now. And Ninja Turtles. Let's see.
Really, they've done Ninja. Oh, Mattel must have licensed that off them to them.
Avatar, apparently.
The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
All right.
Not not the blue people, not Space Pocahontas.
I'm trying to remember what the Avatar toy line was like. I don't think it was good. I don't know.
I remember it being shit, but that's because it was probably not in scale with each other. That's what I remember about things. If it's not in scale, I just don't pay attention to it.
Well, you'll be happy to know that the Marvel figures are in scale with each other, as Titania is meant to be 6 foot something, and She-Hulk's meant to be 7 foot. So she's a little smaller than She-Hulk, which is how it should be.
I was glad to hear about that, and I saw the She-Hulk figure yesterday in Walmart. So
I want to pick her up because she looks good. I'm disappointed she doesn't come with more stuff, but I think that looks like a really good figure. I hear that she pretty much takes up the entire clamshell. She's pretty stacked. She has
to have a weird pose in there to fit. And in my opinion, she just has to come with her muscles. That's it. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean the only thing I'd want a She-Hulk to come with is maybe a few hands, just because more hands, more posing, and then maybe like a lump of rock or a street sign, or like a telegraph pole or something like that. Something to bonk people with. You don't need it, but it's something fun. Whenever I think of like a Hulk or a strong character, I always think of them ripping a chunk of scenery out of something. Maybe a fire hydrant that's dented. I always think that's kind of fun. So another reveal was Secret Wars Wolverine. So this is a new Wolverine, another new Wolverine, using apparently the X-Men 97 animated body, which is fine because I don't have the X-Men 97 body, because you cannot get that figure anymore without spending £57, it seems, or more. So this will have to do me. I think it looks good. Some people say the brown's too light. Apparently this is to reference the original Secret Wars figure. I think it looks fine. Comes with a smirking Logan masked head, which I think looks good, and then a pretty decent unmasked head as well, which I like. And then he's got the standard claws and no claws. They did say in the Pulsecon event that the one of the people who was doing these reveals, a better Wolverine is coming next year, which I thought that was weird to say out loud. That almost sounds to me like, don't buy this one, there's a better one coming. But I guess it depends what he means by that, because there are so many fucking Wolverines and Wolverine redesigns. It's like, do you mean he's on a new body? Do you mean he's in a new suit? Is it an MCU Wolverine? What do you mean by that? That's the problem, right? Yeah,
it will. Excuse me. It will lose sales for them, though. Regarding
it must do, right? I think I heard someone who had interviewed that guy had said how much like this guy and him like Age of Apocalypse. So he was assuming there might be some sort of Age of Apocalypse reference, whether it was the MCU version, from the Deadpool Wolverine reference, even though it was like 3 seconds long. Who knows if they'll just milk that or not? I'll begin this personally because I think this is close enough to Pride of the X-Men design for me, and he also has a standard Wolverine mask that's yellow, so it should be usable on multiple things. He's also got a better Logan face than the Cowboy Wolverine I have that came with Sabretooth. So I'll swap the heads around and plop it on that. So I would have pre-ordered this one. Pre-orders have gone, at least on my local sites for Wolverine. Ooh, you can still get Beyonder. You can still get Titania. Wolverine's gone.
Also question.
Oh,
how tall is this Wolverine?
I don't have that body mold, so I couldn't tell you. But the Wolverine I have is a decent bit shorter than Sabretooth.
Okay, good scale.
Like he's small compared to Wolverine.
I just love hearing accurate scale, even if I have no plans of buying a figure. I'm just glad to hear it.
Well, I'd be interested to see if they ever did Puck. Puck?
Name rings a bell.
He's the Canadian guy who's in like a onesie suit from Alpha Flight. He's basically even smaller than Wolverine. Oh, he should be smaller than Wolverine. I'd be interested to see how they do Puck. He's very silly. Next up, another figure that's gone off sale, who doesn't exist anymore for pre-orders, is a retro Iron Man, who's actually, apparently, because I didn't know this because I haven't read Secret War, isn't piloted by Tony, it's piloted by Rhodey. Rhodey's in this suit, which is kind of interesting, which I didn't know. So I think this is the similar mold that we've had in the past, but all of the joints are now pinless on him. He has a C-grip hand, so he can hold the weird gun he has. And he also has roller skates, which apparently was the style of the time for this Iron Man. So that's kind of cute that they decided to give him stupid roller skates. So actually, this figure, I think, is the most accessory stacked figure in the line. Granted, it is reusing a lot of stuff we've had in the past, but there's still a lot in this box. And if I was like classic super duper old school Iron Man look, I think it's a kind of cute, very much of its time, where it doesn't look like a man in an iron suit at all. And you can actually see the human eyes behind it as well, which is kind of funny. Do you have any thoughts on retro Iron Man?
Well, I'm seeing Tony Stark on the shield in the package, so I don't.
Yeah, it was
I don't
mystery.
think they got the memo of Rhodey,
No. They did because apparently the toy had that as well. It wasn't revealed till later on down the line. It was meant to be a big surprise. I heard people say it would have been nice to give him a Rhodey alternate head, like unmasked, as a bit of a treat for people obviously who know. But that is accurate to the toy. The toy came with a Tony Stark lenticular doodad.
Okay, so that's just homaging the original toy. Okay.
Yes. Just like the Wolverine. Some people said the Wolverine, it would have been nice for the Wolverine to come with black claws, because apparently the toy actually had black clip-on claws rather than standard gray, but then you annoy people for not having gray claws because, metal.
Oh, yeah, okay. Got it.
What do you do there, I suppose? And another figure that's gone out of the pre-orders, at least in my area, is a Captain America. As far as I've been told, or from what I've seen online, it is the 20th anniversary Captain America figure, which I have, but now it's pinless. It's in a lighter blue, and it comes with different accessories. He comes with a completely broken, shattered shield, which is, again, reference to the comic, which is a really cool accessory, to be fair. It looks great. Comes in 3 pieces. 1 piece he can hold, and then 2 bits you just, you put on the floor. And then he comes with a couple of different hands, which I think were all in the 20th anniversary head. And then he has Happy Face, which looks a bit scary, to be honest. And he also has Angry Face, which also looks a bit scary. Because they're using one of the older bodies, it's kind of a bummer because he doesn't have butterfly joints or anything like that. So I don't mind missing out on this one, because effectively I have it. Any thoughts on Captain America?
This looks like this is my favorite of the reveals. It looks nice. I think the smiling face looks a lot nice than the constipated face.
The angry face, yeah. People have said they would like the screaming face, like for when he's throwing the shield kind of thing, and he goes ah.
Oh. Yeah, that'd be cool. But
yeah.
It looks nice. The broken shield looks wonderful in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's a big reason why a lot of people will really want it, because the broken shield's super important, because I think it was the first time the shield was ever broken. And the figure that I really want the most, which some people I'm not sure will care too much about because I've recently had a symbiote Spider-Man, but this is apparently on the better, I'm not sure if it's the best current Spider-Man body, because there are a lot of Spider-Man bodies out there, but this is a different Spider-Man body to the VHS body. You might not be able to tell from a quick look, but this is the Amazing Fantasy body, like I say, which is apparently the best Spider-Man body. So he's got the diaphragm bend. He's also got the bell bar joint in the torso. So he doesn't have a waist swivel. He has a diaphragm swivel, so he can do a lot better posing. He has it's all pinless, as you would expect. And he comes with a new head, which a symbiote Spider-Man hasn't had before, where he's got the angry eyes, as Mrs. Potato Head would say. He's also got the triangles on the back of his hands. I think previous symbiote Spider-Man have had squares on the back of his hands, and I think the triangles are accurate. In terms of accessories, he comes with whipping hands, punching hands, and wall crawling hands. So pretty much all of the hands you would want from a Spider-Man. Since I don't have a symbiote Spider-Man, I'll definitely be getting this, because I think this looks really nice, and I haven't had this body mold before. Apparently, the spider emblem on his boobs is well done as well. It's how it was meant to look. I don't know that for sure, but orange symbiote Spider-Man.
The first image of him looks like vague jazz hands, or like miming. He's miming.
Yes. Do you know what that's a reference to?
No idea. I
only know this because I've seen this in many, many video games. This is the reference to the, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, chat. This is a reference to the comic cover where he first gets the symbiote. He's doing that pose.
Okay, that makes sense.
I think it's meant to be, oh God, what the fuck is this? Rather than, I'm dancing.
Why not both? Yeah.
Yeah, it could be both. He could take on the road. There's enough places in New York to dance, I suppose.
Yeah, there you go.
What do you think of the angry head? Because I really like the angry head. I think they've done a great job with the expression.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's a nice inclusion.
I think there is a better Spider-Man body. I'm not sure because I know there is one that has toe bends to it, but that's not the one they used here. I don't know how Marvel justifies their use of bodies and molds and whatnot. It's bizarre to me. Simon Tang says this one is pinless. I think that he could have meant for Iron Man or Captain America, but everything in this line is pinless. I'll mention that now. Everything is pinless, which is how it should always be at this point on. And Simon also says all retools for Iron Man. Oh, all retools for Iron Man are pinless? Maybe that's what Simon meant. If that's the case, that's good for Iron Man. I know some people have said that it maybe would have been better to not have. They could have gotten rid of Iron Man. They could have got rid of Captain America because they said that Wolverine and Spider-Man are line pins. You know, if you have them, they're going to sell because it's Wolverine and Spider-Man. They might have done some weirder characters, but they've got in Titania, who I think is a weird one. That's a bit more of a risky one. They've got the Beyonder, who's a bit more of a risky one. And then they've got these four, which are, I'd say, generally going to sell, you know, the main heroes, right?
Mm.
Yeah. That was the reveals for Marvel. They showed one other one, which was it was like, vote on which of these creators you'd like to see their favorite figure. And they voted for whoever Dan is on the creation side. And their reveal was a repaint of the Nightcrawler figure into the Uncanny X-Force figure or costume. So we already heard that there's going to be Uncanny X-Force 2-packs coming out. And this is just, I guess, to add to the Uncanny X-Force line. I have the Rick Remender trade to go through at some point in the future, so I'm sure I'll see Nightcrawler in that outfit at some point in the future. I think this is a CG render. It doesn't really show him with anything. It's just one standard shot. Those also showed a brown squidge of a head, which people are like, well, what's that meant to be? And people are theorizing it's meant to be a accessory piece for the Chameleon, for the Spider-Man villain, the Chameleon. People are then wondering, well, what Chameleon are we doing? Are we doing comic Chameleon? Are we doing retro 90s animated Chameleon? Because Orange, if you remember the Chameleon from the cartoon, he used a belt clicky thing to change into people rather than wearing masks. Do you remember him?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, so, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see for that. But yeah, that was everything I saw from the Hasbro Pulsecon thing. So, like I say, Marvel had stuff that I wanted, and that was pretty much it. Simon says, Iron Man and Cap sells. Yep, it's true. It's a shame that nothing. I tell you what, I would have liked to have seen. I would have liked to have seen a completely new Magneto, because Magneto was in Secret Wars, and the 86 line was just an old Magneto. So a brand new Magneto body would have been nice. Here's the thing to annoy you, Orange. That Magneto body is not in scale. There you go.
Yep, that annoys me. Yep.
So that's why a new Magneto needs to be done to be in scale. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. He's Magneto. He'll get a new figure in the future. That's how it works. But yeah, that's all of the news, such as it was. I guess we can talk about what we've been up to this week. What we done for fun. What we got, Orange? What do you got for me?
I got a Studio Series Gamer Edition Decepticon Soldier.
Oh, one or many?
Yeah, one. I picked it up in Walmart. Same visit that I saw She-Hulk in, and I was like, yeah, you know what? You'll be the start. You'll be the. You'll have some friends later. It's fine.
That's a threat, my friend. That's what you call a threat.
Yeah, you could say that. I also got the newest My Little Pony TTRPG source book, the Knights of Canterlot. Yeah.
Is this the second one or the first one?
No,
not the first
third.
one. Wow, three. Okay.
The third source book after the the core rule book. Yeah, so 4 books in total.
Damn.
And it has so many spells in it. It has like the contact stats for the pillars of Equestria. It has a lot of like fantasy elements, so you could like run a fantasy game except with ponies. Yeah, it's a pretty fun book. It has like a knockoff D&D called O&O, and you could actually have your player characters play that like a game inside of a game. It's neat.
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool. You didn't actually mention what you thought of the Decepticon Trooper, though. What do you think of it? Is it good? Is it okay? Because it is just a barricade mold, but a little bit changed, right?
Actually, it the only tooling that Barricade and the Trooper shares is like the crotch and the skeletal pieces. Like all of the rest of the pieces are totally new tooling. It looks like it's
same transformation scheme, though, right?
It's the same exact transformation, but I was surprised at like how different the two characters look.
Okay.
So they put a lot of new tooling in what's essentially a no-name army builder.
For some reason. I wish I had a better paint scheme, because I do think it's let down by kind of a lackluster paint job on it.
I honestly like it better than Barricade. It has like Barricade is so uninteresting to me. It's such a horrible toy, but I really like the Decepticon Trooper. It looks like it has like it's not an overwhelming color scheme or an even good color scheme. It's just like pleasant to me. It's just easy on the eyes. It's good. It's a little above average to me. That's my take on it. It's just not horrible in my opinion, like Barricades is.
Oh, okay, all right. Anything else?
That's about it. I've done some grocery shopping.
You haven't seen anything like TV wise or movie wise or anything like that?
Oh, TV or movie wise? Yeah. No. I saw Deadpool and Wolverine last month. I think? No, earlier this month. That's about it. Yeah.
Did you like it?
I loved it. Yeah, It was great.
How do you think it compares to the other Deadpool movies? Because I think it's easily the weakest of the three.
Oh, compares.
Yeah. I think the first one's the best by quite a long mile.
Yeah, I think my favorite is Deadpool 2. Oh. I mean the first one. I mean it's the most important, right? It's establishing Deadpool and him having like new adventures and all. It's like a new world for him, and it's like the first time that we saw a proper Deadpool in a movie. So yeah, that was a big deal. But in my opinion, the more interesting one is the one with Cable and all the like other X-Men references. And I think I like Deadpool 3. Well, Deadpool and Wolverine as my second favorite, just because of the same reasons, like all of the X-Men references. It's sort of like it felt like here's a lot of the references to the movies. So in case you missed it all, which I did. I didn't watch many of the X-Men stuff. I certainly didn't watch any of the like what's the other movie, like Blade, Fantastic Four, what was the others, like
Elektra.
Yeah, I don't even remember Elektra.
No, you don't need to. Don't worry about it.
The one with Nick Cage. What was it?
Ghost Rider?
Ghost Rider, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't. I mainly watched MCU stuff. I did watch a couple of the old Spider-Man movies, I guess, but
have you never seen any of the Blade movies out of interest?
I saw the first one. I heard the other two was crap, so I didn't bother watching.
The second one's really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's probably my favorite. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I actually watched it yesterday. It's not like a crazy good story, but I think it's a Del Toro movie. So the visuals are really interesting. The worst thing about it are, for some reason, they do CG stuff, but they do slow motion CG stuff. So like Blade will do a backflip, but the camera will zoom in on him and do not like Snyder slow down, but it will slow down. So it makes it really obvious that it's like 2002 CGI, which is a little bit rough. But I think the premise is kind of interesting enough. And I think it's visually very interesting.
Okay, I'll give it a look. Then.
3 you don't need to.
Thanks.
3 if you want like
Okay.
if you've got nothing to do and you want something to watch in the background. It's got Triple H in it. You know, he's a vampire.
Gotcha.
It's got the. Is it the brother from Prison Break? Did you ever see Prison Break when that was out?
I didn't know.
No, it wasn't him. Fuck, who is the guy who plays Dracula in it? Because Dracula comes back in 3, but it's not very good. No, the brother from Prison Break is the Punisher from the Netflix series, I think. Or is that wrong? Can't remember. Either way.
Oh, speaking of Netflix, I'm kind of hyped for the new Daredevil season. That looks like it's gonna be good.
I'm concerned.
Really?
Well, yeah, because the Marvel hasn't been able to write anything, I would say, decent for a long while. And I'm not sure I have the faith, especially with what they did to Daredevil and She-Hulk, which was just embarrassing.
Oh yeah, he was a lot better in Echo, and he only showed up once, so you could probably
to be fair,
imagine
they embarrassed Kingpin in Echo, so I'm not sure that's much of a win there, to be honest.
Maybe a couple times I didn't
They made
mind.
Kingpin a fucking joke in Echo, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean a little bit. Yeah, I agree with you there, but I didn't mind it. I like. Don't get me wrong. I liked him a lot more in Hawkeye, but I didn't mind him in Echo.
Okay.
He was a joke in a few places, but he's.
If you compare how he's written in Daredevil season 1 to any of the like MCU stuff, there's I'd say a pretty big difference, especially how he's introduced in Daredevil, which is slamming that dude's head in a car door over and over and over again until like his head's just mushed and dribbling everywhere. He's a very different character in the MCU, unfortunately. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that everything you've been up to?
Yeah.
All right. So for myself, I bought a load of, I guess, the cheap, unwanted Marvel Legends figures from a couple of years ago. The Zemnu wave, which is the quote-unquote supervillain wave. Each of them were about £7 to £12. So I got 4 of them. I got Dormammu. I got Lady Deathstrike. Arcade. I only know Arcade because of Marvel Ultimate Alliance, by the way. I'd never heard of him before Marvel Ultimate Alliance. And who's the last one? Oh, Scientist Supreme from AIM. And I've got most of Zemnu now. I only know Zemnu because he was in Immortal Hulk. I need to get the Hood so I can get his other leg. And he's pretty cheap as well. They're fine. They definitely feel older compared to some of the... Oh, I also got a Hammerhead because he was only £9. He was on sale. No one wanted good old square-headed Hammerhead. He also feels older as well in terms of like QC and some other stuff. He looks nicer than the supervillain wave, but he's still kind of old. Today I got Tombstone, who is similar to Hammerhead, but he is clearly a lot better in terms of his QC. He's got really good head sculpt. He's got a crowbar as well instead of a baseball bat like Hammerhead. The two of them look really good next to each other because they're just fucking gangsters. I haven't played with Arcade yet. I haven't played with Lady Deathstrike yet. And the Scientist Supreme has this... Have you ever had it, Orange, where you've had a figure and on certain parts of the plastic, it starts to fuzz over a little bit, like with a white fuzz.
Fuzz over.
Yeah.
Can't say I have.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's happened to me a few times with certain figures. Usually, it's clear plastic. For some reason,
sounds a little dangerous.
It's just like reacting to the oxygen. I plan to get like some what's it called, Mr. Super, top coat, and I think if I just like clean him and then spray him with some top coat, it'll stop any kind of plastic reaction because there'll be a layer of like varnish effectively over the top of him. So that's the plan. Okay. But yeah, I think it's whatever plastics they use to make his gold look makes him fuzz over a little bit for some reason. Dormammu has it a little bit on his fiery head, the rubbery fiery head. It's just, it's one of those things. Simon Tang says, is the one powder from the plastic release agent from the mold? That's probably it. because you can just scrape it off with your finger. You can just like run your finger down, and it kind of feels dry on your fingers, I suppose is the best way to describe it. Big D says, just got back from the cinema. What did I miss? Everything. You missed the whole show, Big D. The whole show. Oh, and also, I haven't opened it up, but I got the Heroes for Hire 2-pack, so I got Iron Fist and Luke Cage is in there as well, but I haven't had a fiddle with them yet. I really like Tombstone. Tombstone's great. I love his head sculpt. He's bigger than Hammerhead as well, so he looks intimidating. And although they're both dudes in suits, they're different molded dudes in suits, and clearly, at least in my opinion, Tombstone has a better design. I see why people say he was one of the cooler figures in the more recent Spider-Man retro line. The other ones that they said were really good were Scarlet Spider, which I still need to pick up at some point, and Jack-O-Lantern, which I have, and I think is really cool because he's just got a giant pumpkin for a head that's on fire. That's neat, at least in my eyes.
Neat, yeah.
I mentioned that I had seen Blade, or rewatched Blade 2. I also read Rise of the Midnight Suns, which is a Marvel comic from, I don't know, does it say? Does it tell me when these were? 1994. No, I lie. No, that's Venom's separation. It's from a while ago. It was the beginning of like the weird stuff. So it's like Ghost Rider, the Dark Hold, which had two characters I didn't know or give a shit about. Michael Morbius when he had his first like comic run. Blade and two other dudes from the Tomb of Dracula comics who I'd never heard of, but they were hanging out as the Night Stalkers. And these guys were all fighting together to fight off Lilith, who is obviously the villain from the video game as well, which is the reference. So the whole thing is not great. It's okay. They read very much like 90s episodes of a TV show that could be used for the beginning of a series, if you know what I mean, because it's all introductions and they're loosely connected. But it's okay. It was kind of fun. I really like the artwork in it. And I've started reading Maximum Carnage, which I've never read. Have you read Maximum Carnage before, Orange?
I might have.
Okay.
I don't remember many comics. I even Transformers comics, and I was really big on them back in the day. I don't know why. I don't remember what happens in comics. I don't remember many. Comics. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just have a bad memory when it comes to just. Maybe it's because I don't just pay attention to the art. I just like read and like sometimes I just zone out when I read.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
You read the words, but you don't kind of take it in.
I try, but
because that's how I am with books, which is why I hate books, because I read the words, but I'm not actually paying attention to what I'm reading. So I think, well, why bother? At least with comics, I'm looking at an image for the most part, and it's not just solid text.
Yeah, I'm better retaining comic books nowadays, so I might go back and read a lot of those. But yeah, back in the day,
Well, Maximum Carnage is pretty big. I'm on part 4 of 14, so I've got like 10. Well, technically 11 issues to go through still. The event, if you didn't know, is the Return of Carnage. It's based on, well, I mean, it's not based on, but the video game Maximum Carnage that came out on the Super Nintendo and a few other consoles. It's, that's based on this series. So it's got Demo Goblin, who I'd never heard of. It's got Shriek, who I don't really know. It's got the doppelganger Spider-Man, who apparently was created during the Infinity War, which I'd never heard of. It's just a Spider-Man with 6 arms that isn't Peter, that has sharp teeth. I was like, oh, okay. And then Spider-Man and Venom team up together, apparently.
Yeah, I remember some of those characters, yeah.
It's I really like the artwork of the time. It's pretty neat. And again, as I'm reading, I'm just hearing the 90s voice, the 90s voice cast kind of reading along, which is kind of fun.
Were those symbiotes in some of the Venom movies? I never watched the Venom movie, so I have no idea.
Carnage is the only, well, it's Venom and Carnage are the only symbiotes in Maximum Carnage, and Carnage was the main antagonist of the second movie. which granted wasn't very good. Yeah, I wouldn't say you need to watch the Venom movies. Interestingly enough, the new trailer seems to suggest Null is going to be the new enemy, which is kind of interesting, at least to me. Played by Norman Reedus, who was in Blade 2, if you didn't know, which you wouldn't, Orange, because you haven't seen Blade 2. Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead's in Blade 2 as a baby. He's like 10
Walking
years
Dead.
Oh, okay. He's the guy who carries around the baby in the Hideo Kojima game where you're just a walking simulator, where you're a package delivery guy, whatever that was called. You know the game I'm talking about?
No idea.
Okay, that's good because it was a crap game anyway. Simon Tang says, Andy, do you have a comic app? I do not have a comic app. I have other means, but I do not have a comic app. I do have the physical omnibus of Uncanny X-Men, though. Sorry, Uncanny X-Force. I plan to read that after I finish Maximum Carnage, probably. Big D says, yeah, Maximum Carnage was before the symbiotes got all expansive. Oh, yeah. I think that Gruff told me to read Maximum Carnage and then watch Venom, the Venom series, Anxiety Separation, which has like Riot, Scream, Agony, Phage, and then I can't remember the other one. There's another one. There's more symbiotes. Oh, Death Stranding. Have you heard of Death Stranding, Orange? The game.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
The main character is Norman Reedus in that, so he's going to be playing Null. And if you see Blade 2, he's a little oogly boogly baby. And by oogly boogly baby, I mean like he's probably like 18 or 20. He's so young, like a little baby. So I did that. Have I done anything else? Just work, just the general work, which work / kind of holiday that I'm still on at the moment. And I got to see my mate and hang out with a human being, which was nice. And I think that's it. Yeah. And then just, boring stuff as well. But yeah, that's it. I think that'll wrap up the show unless you've got anything else, Orange.
I do not.
No? Okay, where can people find you on the internet, Mr. Orange?
Oh, let's see. I'm on most social medias as Keshmar Orange, Keshmar, and I'm on Twitch here as Orange-itis. That's exactly how you would spell inflammation of the orange. Yeah.
That it?
That's it.
Cool.
I'm mainly on Discord though, so.
Oh, nice. Cool. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube as Decayed Andy. Rotten flesh of a human being kind of deal. You can find me on the Moonbase 2 forums, Twitter, Twitch, iTunes, YouTube, as Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast. Put in Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast, you'll probably find us. You can also join us on those places at 8 o'clock in the evening UK time on a Sunday. Boo, 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 boo. Just like everybody who has joined us here today, thank you everybody for joining us. We will see you next week for... Orange, do you want to come on next week and talk about RID as a toy line? You've played with the RID toy line, right? You've had most of those figures.
Yeah, I have.
Yes, excellent. Because I've not had a lot of them. I've had some of them, but not a lot of them. So we'll talk about the RID toy line next week. Because, well, maybe we'll talk about the RID toy line next week. Because who knows what the fuck's going to get shown on Monday or Tuesday on Transformers Day. We might have to talk about that. It depends on what's revealed. If it's just another repaint, we won't talk about it. We'll figure it out. Either way, thank you again, Orange, for joining me.
Oh, yeah. Anytime.
And thank you, everybody, for joining me as well. And we'll catch you next week, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.